I'm going to ask you another fun question that'll put you on the spot. If you were stranded on a deserted island, you could only have 3 items with you, what would they be?
Well, you got to stay hydrated. Bring a water filter. I'm not messing with dehydration.
She's only 3 items and she's bringing a filtration system.
Oh, yeah.
Like your Brita?
You have to do something.
Yeah, I'm not messing around with dehydration here. Okay, so that's one. Oh, why is this so hard for me?
It's so hard.
Maybe my dog. Can I bring my dog?
Of course you can.
Yes, we love it. What kind of dog you got? We're big dog. Big.
Lola, come here.
Come on, Lola.
Let me see if I can get her one second.
Uh-oh. Yes.
Oh
my God. Lola.
Lola. Hey everybody, welcome to Travel Nerds. I am so freaking excited about our guest today. Her name is Lillian Rafson, and she's the founder of a surprise travel company called Pack Up and Go. Hi, Lillian.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
So happy to have you here and to talk about this because more people need to know it's even an option and that it exists. So this is so cool and fun and such an awesome idea for a girls' trip or a way to be adventurous with your partner. Can you explain how Pack Up and Go works for those who are unfamiliar with the concept of surprise travel?
Absolutely. So Pack Up and Go is a travel agency that plans curated getaways around the U.S. But as you mentioned, the catch is that your destination is a surprise until the day you depart. So our travelers tell us how they want to travel. You can fly to your destination, you can do a road trip, you can do an outdoors trip, or you can do a staycation. So you choose what mode of transportation you want, and then you complete our pre-trip survey. So you tell us your travel dates, your budget per person, what trips you've taken recently, what trips you have coming up, everything you like to do on vacation, dietary restrictions. We want to know it all. It's almost like a dating profile. Then we have a team of travel planners. So we receive your pre-trip survey and one of our travel planners reads through it and they act as your matchmaker. So we have a real person matching you to a destination and we book it all for you, but we don't tell you where you're going. Then a week before you leave, we send you an email that has the weather forecast, recommended packing items, and where to go and when for your departure. We then mail you a physical envelope that we say, keep sealed until the day of your trip. So the morning of your departure, you go to the airport or get in your car at the designated time, open your envelope to see where you're going, and you're off. So we want this to be the easiest and the most exciting trip you ever take.
That is so cool to have a physical thing. It's sitting on your kitchen counter. You're staring at it for a few days. You don't have to open a link in an email. That is a fun thing that people aren't doing, these days.
It's really fun.
A physical ticket. It's so fun.
Yes. And I took one of our trips last year. And so I can tell you firsthand, seeing that envelope waiting on your kitchen table or in your entryway, it is so tempting to open it, but it's so much fun to get to the airport and rip it open and just have your hotel details and everything that we've planned for you right there. It's a comprehensive set of details.
Oh my gosh. I want to get into the nitty gritty of these trips, but first, let's talk about how you founded this company. What are some of the challenges, we'll start there, that you faced as a founder of a startup in the travel industry, and how did this all come about?
Yeah, so I started Pack Up and Go 7 years ago when I was 23 years old. So now we have sent over 35,000 travelers to over 300 destinations. So we've come a long way, but we are a bootstrap business. And honestly, I sort of think that ignorance is bliss. I started the company when I was 23. I didn't really know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
I just thought it'd be really fun to send some people on surprise vacations. So that was my mindset getting started, and it took off really quickly. So right after I launched the website, which was just making a Squarespace page go live, and I was sitting at a desk in a co-working space, we went viral. So Business Insider published an article about Pack Up and Go, and by the end of that fateful day, we had over a dozen orders. I had a phone call on my personal cell phone because that's what was listed on the website from NBC Nightly News and the Travel Channel.
Hello? You think it's a scam call?
And ever since then, it's been a wild ride.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Well, are there a lot of competitors for you in this space? Like, I feel like surprise travel was something I learned when I saw you at the conference. So I see Lillian sitting behind her desk at a travel conference, and she's just smiling ear to ear. I was like, I gotta go talk to her. And then we started talking about the business, and I was like, be on my podcast. This is something people need to learn about.
Yeah, there are a couple of other surprise travel agencies around the world. So I can't take full credit for the idea. I first heard about it because it was already a concept that existed in Europe. So I had been working at a startup in New York after college and had left that job to travel for a little bit. And I was in Riga, Latvia when I first heard about the concept from two women who were in my hostel. And so that was where I first heard about it. And I thought, this is the most fun idea I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me that I was in Riga, Latvia. I'd been to some pretty random countries and cities at this point, but I had never been to Denver, Colorado, or Charleston, South Carolina. And I started thinking, why is it that when I, as an American, think about traveling, my mind immediately goes overseas? And this is in 2015. So this is well before the pandemic when domestic travel really, became part of everyone's mindset.
Yeah.
But so I thought, how can I bring this back to the US and encourage people to travel domestically? So we are still the only surprise travel brand that focuses on departures and destinations in the US. And we are a team of 30 now. So we are definitely the biggest surprise travel brand. There are a couple of other little ones that have popped up since we started, but we are still the primary one.
That is so cool. A European thing. I wonder why. What's up with that? And they're so lucky because they can be like, hop on a train and, you'll cover 3 countries in 2 days. That's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we all have this conception of traveling internationally that, especially in Europe, it's so easy to get around. It's so easy to check all these places off your bucket list. But then when we think about traveling in the US, there's so many places in your backyard that you never think to go, or you think, oh, it's always going to be there. So you never actually make that trip. So when I think about places that are within a 4-hour drive of me, there are so many that I've just never gone to. I've never carved out the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great way to encourage people to visit places they wouldn't think to go.
I imagine you have these people kind of, people are probably like trying to give, do they try and like give you advice? Like, yeah, but I like this and I really like this. And are they like inching towards you doing something specific, or are you really just like, I guess my question is, how do you choose a destination for your travelers? I know they fill out this really detailed like dating profile of sorts so you can really get a sense of who they are, but do you have like a crystal ball, or is it all based on like a lucky spin of the globe? How do we personalize it to them? Like, how did you even get into the specifics of making sure that's somewhere they'd enjoy?
So we like to say that our trips are a surprise, but they're not random. So on that pre-trip survey, some travelers are really, really specific and others are a little bit more vague. So for example, if you tell us on your pre-trip survey, I love history and historic sites. I love walkable destinations. I'm really into cocktail bars and live music. That might say to our travel planner, oh, I think that this person would love to go to New Orleans.
I was just thinking that.
Exactly. So that really fits the bill, right? That has all the things that they're interested in. So then we might start and say, okay, great. Does New Orleans work for them? Are there flights from where they're departing from? Is there hotel availability? Sometimes it happens that there's a huge conference or a big sporting event happening, so we can't make it happen logistically. So then our planner will say, okay, where else will they love? Maybe Nashville is a good fit. Or maybe it's Austin. What else has that history and sightseeing and live music and cocktail bars that this traveler is interested in? Maybe it's Chicago. So we can I like to say it's half matchmaking, half logic puzzle to put the pieces together.
Are a lot of your trips domestic, or would you say it's kind of like a mixture of international trips?
They're all domestic.
Okay.
So every one of our trips is to a destination within the United States because we want to encourage people to visit places that they wouldn't think to visit And we know that every city here has so much to offer, but you may not think of them as a vacation destination. So that's our goal.
With that, give us a hot take. Like, what is, what's a destination that you think is overrated and what's one you think is underrated?
Okay. Ooh, great question. So there are a few destinations in the US that we don't send travelers to. So we do not send trips to New York, Los Angeles, or Las Vegas because we feel like those are trips that you are going to plan for yourself. Those are places that people know they want to visit, and you're going to find your own experience there. One of my favorite anecdotes about Pack Up and Go is that we've actually had a number of travelers move to the destination that we chose for them because they showed up and they loved it so much that they literally uprooted their life and went there. So
oh my God.
We had a traveler go on a trip with her mom, and we sent them to Savannah, Georgia. And she ended up on that trip applying to go to SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design, for grad school, and moved to Savannah. So we've had a number of experiences like that. But one of our destinations that gets maybe the highest post-trip ratings always surprises people. Any guesses, I should say?
Oh my God. Anywhere in the US?
Okay, I'll narrow it down. East Coast.
Narrow it down.
I'm going Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
I'm going... I just thought of the dumbest one. I'm going to go Hilton Head.
Hilton Head. Okay, so you're both going in the same region. So one of our destinations that I think surprises people the most is Philadelphia. And hear me out.
Philadelphia.
Hear me out. And I'm originally from Pittsburgh. So
I'm about to roast Philadelphia.
All right. Well, take a second because so here's what happens. I think that people open their envelope, they see they're going to Philly, and maybe their first reaction is like, what does Philly have to offer? But
history.
I don't know if the two of you have been to Philly recently. Philly is awesome. Philly, all of our hotels that we work with are right around Rittenhouse Square. So it's this beautiful, charming, walkable neighborhood with all these classic brownstones. There's amazing food, some of the best museums in the country. It's, I would say, just as walkable as Washington, D.C. Boston has so much of the culture of New York, but it has that like more laid back vibe. So I always say that we give Philadelphia the chance to surprise and delight. And so people show up there and are maybe like, why am I here? And then they have the best weekend and they end up loving it.
So you're planning the trip to a T. You're like, this is where you're having dinner. This is where you should get breakfast. Like you're doing like specific, this is the museum you should go to.
Yeah. So it's all completely curated to your interests. So if you tell us that you love art museums, history, craft beer, hole in the wall restaurants, and you're vegan, we take all of that into consideration. So we send you off, since you don't know where you're going, you don't have time to do research. So we curate tons of recommendations for things for you to do while you're there. We'll then also make you dinner reservations, and we'll book a couple of pre-planned activities as your budget allows so that you have some grounding options, but you can also choose your own adventure. So if you stumble upon a really cool neighborhood or a street and you want to spend time exploring there, do it. We want you to check that out. So you can always cancel your dinner reservations or, sort of rearrange your recommendations to fit in what you find as well.
Yeah, like if you're vegan, we're not sending you to Louisiana because
right,
you'll
they
starve.
don't really do that. Yeah, because you'll starve.
We're not finding vegan restaurants for you. Cool. Sometimes they're just harder to find. So if you're going to Philly, for example, and you're vegan, we're not going to recommend the classic cheesesteak options because you won't be able to enjoy them.
They're missing out.
There's a lot of great other
Missing
options.
out.
So, yeah. So it's completely tailored to every traveler.
Can I give you my preferences for a trip and you just pick somewhere off the top of your head?
Just plan one right now.
Yeah, you have to plan one in real time. Okay, you ready? Yeah. I love like a gin martini and some live music.
Okay.
I love thrift shopping. Like a casual day of like eating lunch and thrift shopping would be great. And I don't like the freezing cold. Is there somewhere you can think of off the top of your head?
All right. Off the top of my head, I'm going Austin.
Cool.
Austin, Texas. Definitely not cold. And there's amazing thrifting there. especially in ESOS and so many fun boutiques, great cocktail bars, great food scene, and obviously so many live music options as well.
Very cool. Yeah, Kenny and I went recently, and we only went for like 30 hours, so no thrift shopping was had. I would love that. And I hear that their like nightlife is very cool in like a casual, like hipster kind of way, which would be fun to explore. That's awesome. So do you feel like you had to travel to all of these cities before you created the platform? Like, did you kind of have to do your due diligence and research, or do you do it based off of, what information you can get online?
Yeah. So when I was getting started, I definitely should have been to more places than I had. But it was a lot of research. It was a lot of, asking my network, who knows somebody in Louisville, Kentucky? Has anybody been to Seattle? What are your top recommendations? And really leveraging my network. But the other thing that I love about Pack Up and Go is that people are so excited to showcase their hometowns. So especially in the early days of the company, when it was just one or two people, I was really transparent about that with our travelers. And so people would come back from their trips and say, I loved my trip to Denver. I'm from Portland, Oregon. Where do you send people here? I would love to give you my recommendations. So in the early days, that was sort of how we got started. Now our team is all around the country. So we have people in a lot of our destinations, or if I haven't been there personally, another member of our team has. So now because we're more widely distributed, it's a lot easier to get those local on the ground recommendations.
I can't believe you started this company when you were 23. I mean, I'm like, what the hell was I doing at 23? Definitely wasn't a founder of a company. That's amazing. Like, that's a big feat. Were you like doing this kind of on your own? Did you have like a business partner?
No, it was just me. No? It was just me. I was working on it full time, and I was working at a bar also. So I would plan trips all day, do research on destinations, go work at this bar at night. I always had my cell phone in my pocket, so I would, deliver drinks to a table and then go take a traveler phone call in the back alley, or run down to the basement and check my email and respond to a question. So it was very busy. But a fun fact about me actually is that every single member of my family owns a small business. So when I emailed my parents and I said, hey, I am going to move back to Pittsburgh and start a surprise travel brand, they were both just like, great, sounds good. Yeah, let us know when. Yeah, well,
normal day.
So I feel really lucky in that way that it wasn't, it was scary, but I knew that it would be possible. And I moved back in with my parents, and I got this job at a bar to support myself, and it took off.
Such a badass.
Lillian, I have a question about the early days. I always find like the beginnings fascinating. So you were solo for a while. Who was your first hire, and how much money were you making when you decided to bring on your first additional team member?
Oh, that's a great question. So technically, my first hire was an intern who ended up staying on as an independent contractor for years. I'm still in touch with her. But after about 5 months of me planning all the trips, doing all the customer service, doing all the social media, which wasn't really getting done at the time, doing everything start to finish, I decided to bring on my first hire. And it's really, really scary to give up that little bit of control, because
totally.
It's your baby. And you're like, I don't know how you're going to do. Like, I really have to trust you with this. So my first hire was actually somebody who I had known growing up. And he had been traveling for a couple of years, moved back to the States, and was looking for a job. And what I did was I started to make a list of all of the aspects of the business that I loved doing. And then I made a list of all the aspects of the business that I would, at the very end of the day, be like, oh, shoot, I didn't get to this, or I don't feel like I'm doing this right or very well. And so I had these two distinct lists. And I knew that I loved planning trips, and I loved talking to travelers. So I said, I'm not ready to give that up yet. I want to be planning trips and offering the 24/7 on-call support. That's what I want to do. I'm not good at social media. I keep forgetting to send out newsletters. I don't know how to handle the sort of the business side of things. Yeah. So that's what I brought my friend on to do. And at this point, I was not paying myself. I was still just working at the bar. And it was really important to me that because we're bootstrapped, that the business sort of build up a savings. And I wanted us to have this nest egg in case anything happened or went wrong.
Like
I also
COVID
had,
or something.
yeah, something like that.
small like that.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Something.
pandemic hitting. But I also had no idea if this type of growth was going to continue. So for a while, probably for the first year, our salary structure was actually like a very, very low base payment plus a percentage of that month's profit. So, and I was only paying him at that point. So it was definitely fluctuating. And then after about a year of that, when we brought on our second full-time hire, we realized that wasn't really going to scale. So that's when we moved to very low salaries plus bonuses based on the number of trips that departed. And then that got complicated. Then we moved to just regular salaries.
And how many people in total do you employ full-time now?
30.
30 people. Oh my God,
Damn,
that's
girl.
amazing.
That's incredible.
Crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God. A female entrepreneur crushing it in the travel space. Stop it. Right up my alley. I want to be you. So my question is like, what if you book a trip for somebody and then they're like, Lillian, I'm not going to lie, I don't want to go to Philadelphia. Do you have like backup trips that you plan for people? Or is it really just everybody's like, they understand the concept, they're open-minded? How does that look?
Yeah. So we feel very, very fortunate that we have a self-selecting traveler. When you sign up for our trips, the last checkbox, there's our terms and conditions, but it also says, by signing up for this trip, I agree to go to a surprise destination with an open.
Okay.
And so we have had a couple of travelers, I could probably tell you their names, out of our 35,000 travelers who didn't love their destination, right? That's going to happen. But we always say, travel with an open mind, because you might have a preconceived notion about a place, and we want to help you work past those. And we want you to fall in love with a place that you wouldn't think to visit on your own. We do also have 24/7 traveler support. So if you arrive in your destination and maybe the weather isn't as good as you would hope it is, you can say, hey, are there any other rainy day recommendations you can provide to me? And we can do that research. So we want you to love your trip. So we have a whole team dedicated to making that happen. And we do partner with great hotels around the country. So that you're going to be staying in a beautiful hotel in a central location. You're not going to be in some random motel on the side of the road. So we are doing everything we can for success here.
You do the normal surprise trips that like your company's great at and everybody loves, and then you do the other kind. You have two types. One is hectic, and one is awesome.
One is
we're
crazy.
trying to avoid chaos at all costs here. That's our goal.
Oh my God! Surprise me, but in a bad way.
Yeah, I think that there's a whole market for gifting a surprise trip to someone that you don't like.
Yeah.
And you send them like, hey, you know where we're gonna send you?
Nebraska.
We're gonna send Omaha, Nebraska.
Kenny,
But
you can start that business. We're going for the positive surprises with Pack Up and Go. You got to start that one.
I know a lot of people with enemies. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
The other thing that we launched that sort of harkens back to your question, Connor, is we realized, so we want you to love your trip. Like that is our number one goal. And we do know that things happen. So even if it's, a traveler saying, oh, this isn't where I thought I was going to be going, that's one thing. But a bigger thing that we saw that was impacting our trips, obviously aside from the pandemic, was people needing to make changes. So, if there's crazy weather in your destination, or you get sick and can't depart, or you have a work conflict, or something comes up before your trip, we realized that we offered third-party travel protection, but it was a really clunky process. I don't know if either of you have ever had to file a travel insurance claim. It is not an easy process.
Isn't it all just BS? They
Doesn't
try to
sound fun.
They try to term and condition you to death and say like, we're not going to cover this, right?
Exactly. It's like a miserable process for everyone involved. So our whole thing is making people just have these really fun, easy, exciting vacations. So during the pandemic, we thought, okay, how can we improve that part of the experience? Because it is a bummer for our team. It's a bummer for our travelers. Nobody wants that. So we launched something in-house called Peace of Mind Refund Assurance. So now we add that to your trips just to give you even more peace of mind when you sign up for a surprise vacation. So we cover unexpected costs. If your flight home is canceled, you can use your Peace of Mind Refund Assurance to cover that extra night in your hotel before you can fly home. Or if you have to cancel your trip ahead of time, we guarantee a cash refund, and we don't need medical documentation. We don't need to know why it is you're canceling.
Crucial.
Mercury can be in retrograde, or you could be seriously ill. Either way, we're going to give you that refund that you need. So our whole thing from start to finish is just trying to find ways to make this easy, exciting, and fun for you.
That's really
amazing.
cool.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was wondering about, that it's really amazing that you bootstrap the business, and that's why I was kind of poking at the early days. What's the main way that you guys get customers now?
Yes. I don't know if you follow us on social media, but
Yes.
social media is huge for us. So
Okay.
surprise travel is a really shareable concept. People are really excited about it. And actually, I had a crazy experience. I was in Denver in the summer of 2021, and I was walking around downtown Denver, and somebody approached me and said, "Hey, you'll never guess why I'm in Denver." Like a complete stranger just walked up to us and was like, "You're never going to believe why I'm here." And I immediately said, "I bet he's on a pack up and go trip." And my fiance said to him, "Tell us, why are you here?" And he said, "This morning, we had no idea we were coming to Denver. We're on this thing called a surprise vacation with pack up and go." And I asked, "Are you enjoying the trip so far?" And he said, "I'm having the time of my life." And then I said, "Oh, well, I'm actually the founder of that company." And it was
No
a
way.
experience to see in real time how excited our travelers are and how they become brand evangelists and how they are spreading the word literally to strangers on the street in their destination. And he was from rural Texas, and he said, "My entire town was taking guesses on where we were going to be going. We went on Facebook Live this morning to open our envelope." So it's a really, really shareable concept. So on our social media, we are always highlighting our real travelers. We don't want you to feel like these are stock images. We want to showcase the people who are actually going on our trips. We also do a lot of partnerships. So we just did a partnership with Parrot Bay Rum, and we want to spread the word about surprise travel through co-branded partnerships that support both brands. We've actually never invested in paid advertising, so it's something that we are considering starting. But to date, everything has been organic, word of mouth.
So these 91,000 followers on Instagram, that's word of mouth.
It's word of mouth.
And that's just organic growth. And have you seen any difference on like Instagram versus TikTok? Have you guys found one channel better than the other?
So we are really active on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And
Facebook, really?
Facebook is huge for us. We've actually had a couple of posts on Facebook go like insanely viral to the point where our website crashes from the traffic.
Wow.
So yeah, all three channels are really great for us. And what I love about that is that like surprises are not just this cute millennial thing. My parents have gone on 3 of our trips. Our first 5-time travelers were aged 80 and 82 from rural Ohio. So we get a really wide range of travelers. So we definitely have millennials who live in big cities going on trips, but we get retirees, we get empty nesters, we have families traveling with us. It's really a wide range. So each channel is a little bit different for us, but all perform really well.
That is
it mostly I know that you just described like a wide breadth, but I would say when you were first, who's like your core customer? If you had to like raise money and you were pitching VCs and they're like, who's your beachhead customer? Is it like a 30 to 35-year-old millennial couple?
That's exactly it. Yep. Our most common traveler age is 30. And most of our trips have 2 people. So primarily couples. But Connor, to your earlier point, we do have a lot of friend trips. So one big benefit of Pack Up and Go is that if you have a friend, you're in Orlando, if you have a friend in San Francisco and the 2 of you want to travel together, it can be so frustrating to coordinate the logistics.
Yeah.
But we will find a destination in the middle and try to line up your flight so that you arrive within an hour or 2 of each other. So we do a lot of like friend reunion trips is what we call them.
Oh, none of my friends live here. So that would be so much fun. I want to go on one alone. I want to do this and I want to just do it by myself.
8% of our trips are solo travelers.
Really?
And
Wow.
I have a soft spot for them because I decided to start Pack Up and Go when I was traveling solo. So I love traveling alone. I think it's such a rewarding experience. So I would love for you to go on a solo trip.
It teaches you so much about yourself, you know? just the way you're handling all these random, unfamiliar things getting thrown your way. It's pretty special.
Yeah. And even if it's your first time traveling solo, like, we have 24/7 support. So you're never actually like stranded or on your own. We're a phone call away. You can text us, you can call, email. We're there.
So cool. I'm going to put all my preferences as things I've like never loved. I'm going to be like hiking, horseback riding. We'll see what happens. Pack Up and Go just made a really big announcement recently. You want to talk about it?
We did. We made a huge announcement. So I am really, really excited. After 7 years of planning surprise trips and growing Pack Up and Go and thinking about different opportunities, one thing that we've always been really intrigued by is the idea of group travel and ways that, if you were to go on a solo trip, but you wanted to be with other people, how could that work? And so that's something we've always been really intrigued by, but it's sort of complicated with the element of surprise. So Pack Up and Go actually just made our first acquisition. We acquired a group travel company called Have Fun Do Good that plans group travel experiences around the United States. So still sticking with that domestic travel specialization. And each of the trips has a city and outdoors focus, but there's also always an element of volunteerism. So it's a really great way to literally have fun and do good. So I'm really, really excited about this. Our first trips are going to be launching this summer, so keep an eye out. And Pack Up and Go is not going anywhere. So we are still going to be offering our surprise vacations around the U.S., but we are just adding this to our portfolio through Have Fun.
That's very exciting. That is a huge deal. Seriously.
Thank you. It's really exciting to have bootstrapped a business, grown the business, survived a pandemic, and now be able to expand in this way. It definitely feels like a huge milestone. So we are very excited about it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, Lillian, like merging teams is always interesting when one company purchases another. And I have a little bit of the background of the company that you're acquiring. So what is the management of the company that you're acquiring going to look like? Are you going to assign someone from your team to run it? What does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, so Have Fun Do Good was started by an amazing guy named Adam Coons. He was running it by himself. He was a one-man show. And so when I met him, I really understood where he was coming from because that's what I was doing for so long. So the Pack Up and Go team is going to be fully taking over from a management perspective. And again, we have 7 years of planning surprise vacations around the U.S. under our belt. So it is going to be a cross-team effort on our side of things. We do have, a project manager, and I'm working really closely with her on this, but we have our hotel partnership team helping us. We have our travel planning team helping us. Our marketing team is going to be working on both brands, as well as our 24/7 traveler support. So it is an all hands on deck attitude. That is the way that we've always worked and the way that we're going to continue to work. And then we will, because it's group travel, have on the ground trip leaders on each trip. So that'll be one key difference between Pack Up and Go experiences and Have Fun Do Good experiences.
Okay.
And what's the average group size for Have Fun Do Good?
8 to 12 people.
8 to 12. Okay, awesome.
So you're not going to be on a huge motor coach. It's going to be a fun small group experience.
That's cool.
So you're going on this group trip. You have a guide, a personalized travel genius with you on this trip. And then at some point, you don't know what you'll be volunteering for. You don't know where you're going, but like you're going somewhere and getting to have volunteering be a part of your itinerary somewhere along the way.
Yeah. So for Have Fun Do Good, you will know where you're going. It's not going to be a surprise destination. That's going to be one key difference. So Pack Up and Go, surprise. Have Fun Do Good, you know where you're going.
Okay.
So we're still finalizing the details of the volunteer opportunities, but you'll get that information ahead of time. And again, we're going to tell you what to pack. So if you need to bring closed-toed shoes for your volunteer opportunity, we'll tell you. We're not going to keep you in the dark there.
Flip-flops, shoveling gravel.
Yeah.
Let me go build a house in some flip-flops.
Hey, a liability. We should do an all-fly, Have Fun, Do Good little volunteer trip.
We would love that.
Volunteering?
Kenny,
I'm just messing with you.
Kenny, we gotta be, we gotta do good at some point. For the people.
For the people. I would love to volunteer.
Yeah. The listeners can't see the wink, but
Yeah, on
they heard
YouTube,
a
you could
blink.
see the very quiet wink.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. Lillian, have you been like following all these? I was just on LinkedIn the other day and I was seeing Expedia launched a trip planning tool with AI. Have you been
Yeah.
following any of like the tech AI stuff and how it's intersecting with travel?
Yeah, we've been keeping a pretty close eye on it. I think it's really, really interesting. So I mean, in my personal life, I'm excited by ChatGPT and AI and the ways that it can enhance our lives. I think it has a lot of implications for society as a whole.
Sure.
And what I find super interesting about it is that because the data that it's scraping isn't fully current, it's not recent as of Q1 2023. We are still heavily relying on our human knowledge. So we do have a city ambassador program where we work with locals in different cities. So we're asking them, what's the best new coffee shop that opened up in your hometown? Because we have access to that information, ChatGPT does not. So there are ways that we can leverage it to get some baseline knowledge about our destinations or some evergreen, high level information, or especially for new travel planners. If you are sort of unsure between two destinations and you're curious, if somebody tells us they love aviation history, for example, you could do a search on ChatGPT and see, okay, yes, there's Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, but Seattle has the Boeing headquarters and they offer tours, or Washington, D.C. has the National Air and Space Museum. So we do a lot of trainings for our team to learn these nuances of all of our destinations. But I can see there being a lot of applications for AI to enhance the human knowledge that our team has. So we are not, replacing our trip planners or replacing our content team with ChatGPT. That is not the way that we're going. But I do think it's a really interesting tool for travel to leverage. But it to your earlier point with Expedia, it can't yet see real-time inventory, or it can't.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. If there's a really cool new boutique hotel that opened, it doesn't have that information yet.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
we're
there's
still-
definitely limits to it.
Yeah, we need those human elements still.
Yeah, I just, out of just sheer curiosity, I just asked ChatGPT,
Ugh.
plan me a surprise vacation somewhere warm, lots of outdoor activities, direct flights from Orlando, Florida. Pick 3 destinations and give me a fancy hotel, please. Now, it picked 3 international destinations right off the bat. So I was like, scrub that. I was like, only domestic, dude. And so sure, I'll be happy. The 3 ones that it picked, do you want to take a guess?
Okay. Let me think. In terms of direct flights in the US, it might be saying Puerto Rico is a guess that I have.
So that's one it did for, so Puerto Rico was on there. When I
Damn,
did the
she's
first one,
good.
it just gave me all international. So Puerto Rico was on there.
And Pack Up and Go does send trips to Puerto Rico because it is.
Oh, nice.
technically
We love
possible.
Puerto Rico.
Love it. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to guess. I don't know if there's a direct flight from Orlando, but San Diego is a guess that I have.
San Diego, you're close. It gave me 2 West Coast, one East Coast.
And it's warm.
Yeah,
Was-
warm. I did say, warm, lots of outdoor activities, fancy hotels.
Was it saying like Phoenix? Is Phoenix warm?
Yeah, Scottsdale. You're
Yeah.
good.
Damn,
You're
yeah,
good,
he's good.
Lillian.
Fun people there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
And then the last one, I would have never really thought, but I'll give you the last one. But Santa Fe, New Mexico.
There's a direct flight from Orlando?
That's where I think it's a little bit screwed up. There's no direct flight from Orlando to Santa Fe. I don't
Yeah.
think. Or
Right.
if there is, it's on Frontier, and we shouldn't be sending people on that stuff, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, this is the thing is that there are amazing destinations like Santa Fe, Sedona, really off the beaten path destinations. And so we plan a lot of road trips there because there, to your point, there aren't great flight options to get to those smaller towns. But for have fun, do good, for group travel, we could have something where you know where you're going and we work together on the logistics to get you there.
Yeah, I'm doing the summer in Lake Tahoe. You ever send people there?
We do.
All right, give me like 1 or 2 Tahoe tips. We're staying in South Lake Tahoe at the Nevada-California line.
Okay, well, now you're really quizzing me because again, we have a team of 30. I'm not acting
Come on, Lillian. I thought you knew. I thought you knew it
Listen,
all.
dude, I live in
No,
Florida.
That's super unfair. I'm making her play real-time travel advisor. That's so rude of me.
Don't
I
do
apologize.
that. What are you doing?
That's not right.
She's our
listen.
guest.
One thing that we do offer are called picks. There are destination guides.
Oh,
So
that's
we
cool.
have a lot of travelers who say, hey, I know that I'm going to Lake Tahoe. Do you have any recommendations? I unfortunately can't rattle them off the top of my head because I have not planned trips in a little bit. But we do have destination guides for Lake Tahoe. So if
That's
you want
cool.
to go to our website, you can get a destination guide with all of our top restaurants, sightseeing opportunities. If you want to go on hikes, we have recommendations for that. So our destination guides are also a great offering if you want to pick our brains. Again, these are curated by humans, not just an AI bot.
Sure.
Yes.
I think it's me there.
All right. Personal question. You have a long flight and you want to binge watch a TV show. Which one are you going with?
Well, I don't want to brag, but I'm actually an expert plane sleeper. So
That is bragging. I'm so jealous.
yeah, it is a talent of mine.
That's sick. Is that something that you worked on?
No, it comes naturally.
Oh my God. Are you going neck pillow? Are you just, are you just like
I'll bring
face
a
down?
neck pillow. If it's overnight, I'll bring an eye mask as well.
Okay.
Love to wake up from a flight feeling great. Okay, but if I were to binge a show, I love like Chef's Table, Parts Unknown. I would probably watch a show like that to get me excited about my destination if there is an episode.
I
Interesting.
love Chef's Table. Are you into that, Kenny? Have you seen that?
I don't do any of the cooking shows. They just make me hungry, and I'm trying to stay at like that 1,900, 2,000 calories a day. And if I'm watching too much chef stuff, first of all, when I'm on a plane, I feel like I eat 5,000 calories a day. Whenever I travel, it totally rips me apart from like a diet standpoint. I'm in Sky Club. I'm like shoving my face there. Then I'm on the plane. I have 7 cookies, 3 Cokes. It's not great. So sleeping, I should probably take some tips from you because I need to sleep just to keep this figure,
This figure we're working on here. I know. It's like there are no rules on a plane with eating. There are no rules. People are whipping out like Chinese food they just got in the other terminal, Philly cheesesteaks. I'm like, who the F do you think you are bringing like Szechuan chicken next to me in this row on this plane? They open it up. You're like, oh, not good. Not good. I'm going to ask you another fun question that'll put you on the spot. If you were stranded on a deserted island, you could only have 3 items with you, what would they be?
Well, you got to stay hydrated. I bring a water filter. I'm not messing with dehydration.
She has only 3 items and she's bringing a filtration system.
Oh yeah,
like your Brita.
You have to do something.
Yeah, I'm not messing around with dehydration here. Okay, so that's one. Oh, why is this so hard for me?
It's so hard.
Maybe my dog. Can I bring my dog?
Of course you can.
Yes, we'd love it. What kind of dog you got? We're big dog. Big.
Lola, come here. She's
Come on, Lola.
Let me see if I can get her. One second.
Uh-oh. Yes.
Oh
my God. Lola.
Lola. Holy shit.
She's adorable.
Yeah, she's half dachshund, so she's short and very long. So yeah, Lola would come with.
What's the other half of Lola? I'm kind of interested.
Oh, we're not sure. Probably like a lab or something golden.
She looks a little lab, a little golden. Yeah.
It's a mystery. She's almost 5
I loved her.
and she looks like a permanent puppy.
Oh my God. Just so
that's
cute.
adorable.
Lola,
Yes.
you're like, come here, girl. She's just like hops right in the frame.
Like, say less.
If you're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, we got water filtration. We've got Lola. And
Great answer.
honestly, probably my Kindle for some rating and
Yeah.
I'll treat this like a beach vacation. It's gonna be great.
Where would you charge it though?
Okay, maybe my 4th item is a portable charger.
Now she's trying to expand into 4. I see you.
Yeah.
I do like that Lola made it over the boyfriend, fiance, husband. That's awesome.
Right? His name is Kenny. Sorry, Kenny.
Oh my God. Lola, you are number 1.
She knows.
Even more than dehydration, your mom just thought of you second. We won't tell it.
Yeah.
We won't tell it.
Right after, like there's no guns or weapons or ways to hunt. It's just Lola. That's awesome. What do you need more, right? It's like, come on.
Would that be your
Con-
answer, Kenny? Were you going to say like, I'll bring a gun?
I mean,
Oh my God.
no, see, Lillian, I went right down Lillian's path, to be honest. A water filtration system, but there's this startup that I've been obsessed with called Source. They used to be called Zero Mass Water. And if I could bring anything of any size, it would be that, because it's basically like a solar panel, but it takes air and the moisture in the air and sunlight and makes clean drinking water. So I was right there
Oh,
with
that's
you.
cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm bringing.
Yeah. That would be really cool, because then I'll get nice bottled water. And then I'll be like high tech. So if like the animals come, they kind of respect me because they're like, look at this high tech solar panel that makes water. So that would be cool. I think I would bring my golden retriever too, because I would be lonely. And if Tom Hanks had his stupid volleyball, I need my version of that. So I want my golden. And then the last one, I think I would bring like probably a sick gun. Right? To like hunt, because you have to hunt, and I'm not trying to kill things with my hands. I'm a wimp, so I need to be able to hunt something, or a bow and arrow, some Katniss Everdeen stuff.
I would die so quick. There's no way I could kill something and cook it, and I can barely cook like in my normal kitchen. Cooking on a stranded island, I would be a goner. There's no way.
It would be bad.
My answer didn't involve either of my animals, and now I feel shitty that you guys were like, of course, my children. And I'm just like, I didn't even think about them.
It's okay, Tuna. Your mom doesn't love you.
Yeah. That's so sad. Oh my God. I was thinking like
Poor
a knife.
Ned and poor Tuna.
Like a machete or something. A hammock. So I don't have to sleep on the ground,
Yeah. Stay off the ground.
Stay off the ground. And then I was thinking like a solar powered radio. So pretty much I would just be hanging out in my hammock with my machete, jamming out all day. If something happens to swing past me, that is my food. I'm not hunting anything. I'd rather die, die quickly than like spend my whole life murdering things on this island to try it. I don't see that happening for me. Oh my gosh. That's funny. Okay. Last question about Pack Up and Go. I really, really want to hear about like what you got in the works. I know you're about to do this awesome acquisition that's going to change the game for you guys. What are some future plans and goals for Pack Up and Go?
Oh man, I mean, we are always rolling out new things for Pack Up and Go. So I would say follow us on social, sign up for our newsletter. You will stay up to date there. But if you're planning a summer vacation, reach out. Let us plan it for you. We would love to send you somewhere.
Plug all the stuff so people know where to find you.
Yeah. So on social media, we are at packupgo_travel. Our website is packupgo.com, and all of our contact information is there as well.
Amazing. Okay. You're on Travel Nerds. So what are you a nerd about, Lillian? You can't say travel. That's cheating.
What am I a nerd about? I would say it is, actually, this is pretty nerdy. I teach classes for women to start their businesses. So
that's sweet.
Yeah. My motto is, if you know something, teach someone. So I teach classes, and I teach a 6-week course called Concept to Launch. So if you want to have an idea for a business, but you don't know where to start, I've done all that research for you. I've learned a lot. So so that's probably the nerdiest thing that I do.
I went in on that.
All right.
No, you have a job.
I just start a business on the side. That would be such a cool boss move. I don't have time, but that would be sick.
Connor, you've just gotten 27 new assignments across your desk, so.
I did. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to tap in near the summertime. I would just love to hear, just about, I mean, you're so young and you're like running this thing and you started this thing so young, and it's cool just to share the knowledge and let people know that it's possible. I think there's so many of my friends that could be doing something like that, and they just don't even, they don't even think that it's possible for them to start something from scratch. It sounds like a really overwhelming feat. So that's really cool that you teach that stuff. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, let's get out of here. And Lillian, thank you so much for coming on. Seriously, surprise travel is something that people should know more about. And it sounds really freaking fun. And I will do it. And I will come on the pod and report back on my experience, because that sounds like so much fun. And I can't plan my life more than 5 minutes in advance anyway. So it's right up my alley.
Perfect. We will happily plan your vacation. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You guys go check out Pack Up and Go. Check out Travel Nerds at Travel Nerds Pod on Instagram and TikTok, travel_nerds on Twitter. And I'll see you next week. Later, nerds.